Hello, everybody. You're listening to KPCA LP, Petaluma, California. This is Let's Make a List. I'm your host, Phil. This is a show where we take things that are related to pop culture, and, everyone knows what that is. And then we make lists and talk about our choices. And sometimes they turn to debates. Sometimes they turn into agreements. Sometimes they
knock down fights.
Nobody cares. Yeah, knock down plates. Was there ever, here's the first question. Are you impressed by
You talking to the general public? You're talking to me.
I'm talking to you.
Your
Our guest today.
Your hair looks especially nice today.
It's in my hair a little bit. Thank you.
Yeah.
My hair, my head, my face, my eyes.
Your face is regular. Your hair looks good.
Thank you.
Okay, now it's nice.
Our guest is a returning guest. You know her from being on this show and calling in during the other show sometimes.
Oops.
And calling in during this show sometimes too.
Stranger number 3.
Yep. It's my mom, Kathleen.
Hi.
You can call her KL. Is that how everyone calls you?
Everybody.
Everybody calls you that? Or Kathy L. Man?
Phil's mom.
Yep. Mrs. Phil's mom. So are you impressed by people that do spinning plates? That do the things where they spin plates, multiple plates at a time?
Yes.
Impressed by it. Me too. So there we go. I don't have to ask you the follow-up question. So today we're going to be talking about toys.
Oh, yeah. So today I walked on that Schlossenberger trail because I was visiting my sister who lives in Petaluma.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, really nice trail. Good job, you guys. You should be happy you're living
It
in
is nice.
Petaluma.
We have good places to walk here.
Petaluma's a great city.
It is.
Thing.
Even just in our neighborhood, just go outside. I'm not going to tell people where we live because we'd be bombarded with people walking by and saying, "Hey, you guys are cool." But even just walking down there, and it's a real nice neighborhood to walk.
Yeah, I'm going to do that a lot more. It's really nice, and everybody on the path was very nice too.
Oh, good.
And none of the dogs bit me.
Really?
But they didn't want to.
But were you okay?
Yeah.
After a while, were you kind of offended that they weren't? And you're like, I want them to try to bite me at least.
I figured they already ate.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to assume.
Every time I come to Petaluma, there's something I like about it even more.
Yeah, I like it very much. Sometimes it gets a little too warm.
Ugh.
That's like everywhere in the world,
Yeah.
except for maybe Chicago. And so today we're going to be talking about toys and toys from our past, toys from our present.
Oh,
Maybe we're going to make up
toys.
Yeah, well, some of them have stuck with me.
That's true.
We're thinking about them now, so that means they're, part of our present. So before we get into our in-depth conversation about toys, we're going to be talking. I have a quick question.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
So scary.
It's not a question as much as just something I want to mention. So I talked about this before. I want to mention something about politics because it is mixed with pop culture these days. Probably always has been to some degree. And then also just because we live at a time where I think people should speak up as much as they want and as much as they can. And we have a thing where, 1.7 billion people are listening. So I might as well just say something I think matters. Remember to vote. Register to vote. I don't know. I don't remember when the deadline is to register to vote for this election, but it doesn't matter. Register anyway. But here's the thing. So we won't get into details about this, but I'm going to use it as a backdrop or setting or something. So there's the big vote. Like today, there's the first vote for Kavanaugh to see if he is, approved to become Supreme.
To see if he should. Vote, yeah.
And then they're going to do another, because they had the vote in the committee, then this vote, and then now they're going to vote again,
they're
like probably this weekend.
For 30 hours.
Yeah. Okay. Yep. So here's my question: how much do you think there's actual debate and discussion between politicians, especially at the federal level? Like, I guess locally, I'm guessing there's a lot more, but at the federal level, I wonder how much actual debate and discussion there is between politicians when it comes to anything that they're voting on. Because first of all, they have so many aides, and there's so many lobbyists that get in there that they probably talk to more. And so much of their job is raising money. And it's so partisan for almost everything that they're probably the people when they can't decide, it's probably because never mind. I'm gonna take it. I don't know why, but I wonder if it's like if there are right now Democrats trying to contact Republicans saying, here's why you should not approve, not vote a yes on Kavanaugh, and all these things. And when there are wars they vote on or stuff like that, I wonder how much actual discussion there is from person to person, politician to politician, because I know there are plenty of their friends, but a lot of times I wouldn't be surprised if they kind of keep the business separate and then they have their personal.
Well, we know that Flake and Coons were discussing it. We don't know what they were discussing. If they were discussing, right. Well, if you, I have no idea. Of course,
I'm really curious because
it's like, are they actually talking about this, or are they saying, if you do this, then I'll do that? Right. And I don't know. That's not the same as discussing the thing. That's making a deal about your vote.
Yep. And I wonder if it's just something like messages that are sent through different aides or messengers. You know what I mean? And I really wonder how much of it actually is people in a room discussing, because they do have, like, on C-SPAN, they show them, they have the actual debates where they, not I'm talking about like candidates debates, but when there is a bill up and then everyone has a certain amount of time to go up there and speak, and they show the room, it's almost always empty.
Yeah.
So many of them just don't show up. A lot of politicians don't vote.
I think they can probably hear it from their offices though too. When we went there, because we went there, did they have speakers there so you could listen from the floor?
I don't remember.
I bet you there is.
Okay.
I don't know.
It was smaller than I thought it would be. That room.
What is?
The rooms, like whenever I go to a room where they have political, like the state capitol or the U.S. Capitol, when the rooms where they had the Senate meets or it's always smaller than I think.
Yeah.
But I really hope that that there are people on the left that are actually trying to reach and give reasons and discuss things with people on the other side. And you know, I hope that there is I hope there is a lot of actual discussion and stuff, but I wonder how much they I like the kind of, I can't think of the right word, is it pessimistic side of me? Is that where I feel like they probably just, they don't, the only reason they care about what other politicians are doing is to see how like their voters react, or if it's party lines or things like that. I just the actual consequences and the question of it's right or wrong and what's actually going to help the people in general and stuff. I really hope that they actually are pushing that. And I like there's obviously there are plenty of Democrats right now, and I think like one or two Republicans that are speaking, that are saying Kavanaugh should not be a Supreme Court justice. I wonder, and I hope this, I'm just repeating myself, but I really hope that they are actually going and trying to talk to other senators and stuff and reach them on a personal level, a level that says like, this is what actually matters. But who knows? It could even be a lot of the Democrats don't really care. They just go politically, this is our party stance and stuff. I'm glad that you still have that hope. I just don't, my hope is dwindling. Yeah.
But like I said, I don't know how much of it is discussing that or just making deals.
Yeah. Yep.
And really maybe they go back and they're reading their emails and checking their mail and seeing what the phone calls are, like what they're weighing it, because this morning I was listening to Barbara Boxer, I think it was, and she said, I remember back when I voted for the Iraqi war, and she said I voted against it even though 80% of my constituents wanted me to vote for it. And I was like, that's a weird thing too. Yeah. She says sometimes you just got to do what's right. And I'm going like, oh, I agreed with her vote, by the way, but like, what is the right thing to do then? That's a tough one.
It is.
And I guess part of it is you elect them to be our what's the word I'm looking for? Not dignity, but to speak for us in in a good way. To guide us,
our leader.
Yes, to guide us into doing this thing that's right, because they have more information and they know what the whole thing is. Yep.
Because I do that. I think that sometimes I go, well, what if, like, they're people from, lack of better words, a red state, and if their constituents, because of where they get their information and stuff, they want them to vote, yes on the war and yes on Kavanaugh or whatever, then I'm like, is it their moral duty then to go along with them, or like you were just saying, or is it also you could just
they have more information?
Yeah, so
they should use that wisely and not for re-election.
Yeah,
I guess that's how it goes though. Yeah. I'm so naive.
We just don't know because the information isn't presented to us. And we have to constantly be making, when it comes to politics, we have to constantly be making educated guesses and just assume and hope and
and try to get educated.
Yep, because you have to figure out, even if you, even because everyone gets different information, and it's hard to know who to trust that you're getting information from, what their intentions are, and then you have to that piled on with what certain politicians, if they're being honest or truthful, what their
interpretations,
and stuff, and then you have to. It's constantly a. I can't think of the word, not guess as much as I don't know, but you're just going, I think I'm interpreting all this information as data that's coming to me, and this is from what I get, this is blah, blah, blah. So that's why sometimes when you have people who you disagree with a bunch politically, there's like always that part where it's like, well, that's the information they're getting, but then now it's like, you can't just use that excuse because it's so easy for if it's people who watch Fox News all the time, if they have access to Fox News, they have access to so much other stuff too, and just what I mean, and that's not, and people who just watch CNN, they have access to so much other stuff too, that it's hard to use that as an excuse.
Yep.
I don't know. I'm just I was wondering. I just realized in my notes I spelled Ghostbusters wrong.
No.
A goose, like ghouls, but ghouls busters.
That's scary.
But no L. Goose busters. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. That's just something that popped in my mind.
Speaking of spelling something wrong, the other day I was sending a text and I said, ask them to replace the chicken with avocado, and it said replace the chicken with Amanda. I thought that was a pretty good one.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vaughn.
Yep.
I'll talk while you drink water. Glug, 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 glug.
Put ice in it. It's still cold.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Science.
Yeah, it's amazing. So speaking of science, talking about toys. So we're two different generations. Mm-hmm. Do you mind if I say what year you were born?
No.
You were born 1957.
That's right.
I was born 1985. I bet some of our toys overlap in some ways. Mm-hmm. But a lot don't. And I'm curious to see how many of mine you know and how many of yours I know. I'm guessing I know more of yours than you know of mine.
Really?
Yeah, because,
but I was there for most of your toys.
Right, but
remember that part where I'm your mom?
Yeah. But I feel like there's so many toys for us that we thought about and play with all the time that for you it was just like, oh, here's another one of these. Here's another one of these. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I feel like no offense, there were less toys for you growing up probably than there were for me.
Oh, absolutely. And there were fewer choices, but still, it's just.
Do you have for yours on your list, or do you have specific like brands and stuff even, or is it kind of like this kind of toy or that kind of toy?
It's this kind of toy because the brand thing didn't matter at all. And two of them actually, three of them, the name is actually the brand.
Okay. Yep. So many of my toys are licensed products where it's another property from someone and they use that and build the toys around it. Not all, but some. That'd be fun to go through and play some, I don't know why I'm saying this when I'm not going to do it, but play like some commercials, old commercials from them. But I don't know if we're allowed to do that or not.
No, that is
fun.
So
I'm not going to do it. So I've got kind of a few different categories, pretty much. I've got, by the way, anyone listening, if you have toys that were big in your life or you have good memories about or something and you want to share or just comment on something that we're saying, you can call in at 707-981-7577. That's 707-981-7577. Yep, you can call in to KPCA and we'll have you on the air.
It's pretty easy to look that up. It's easier to look it up than write it down.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So, yeah, my categories are basically toys that I have specific memories that have stuck with me about them. I have toys that I just remember being cool and liking them. And then I have toys that I forgot about until I started, or I remember little bits. I'm like, is this real or was it a dream? I can't tell. And I looked it up and I found out what they were. And then there were actually two. We talked about this yesterday, but I said, oh, we shouldn't do that. But I actually picked two that I didn't have, but I wish I did, but I never expected to really have them. And we'll get to why when we get to that.
Okay. I like that you changed the rules after the fact. That's good.
Yeah, it's fun.
And the thing is, no one can see my list, so I can change it all I want.
Oh, cool.
I'm not gonna though.
Oh, cool.
I don't cheat.
Thank you. So,
by the way, I don't really consider that cheating. I was just felt like being snarky.
Oh. So, what is a toy? No, okay. Let's jump right in. I'll start with basically saying this is an overall general thing, and I'm going to go into more specifics later. I think my main toy, I had two main categories of toys. I feel like grown up. 3. This is good. God. And I'm not going to go into each category specifically, but I feel like I didn't include video games in here.
Yeah,
for the most part, it's a toy, but it's its own separate thing. Yeah. The only kind of video games I have on here are the little handheld, where it's just one game. You buy the thing and it's one game. I had Ghostbusters. You could think of that as a toy. Yeah, but I don't know why I think of that as more of a toy than other video games. But I had one that was Ghostbusters. You buy the thing and it was a rectangle that had Ghostbuster logo on it and stuff, and just one game you played. Mm-hmm. And you had like 2 AA batteries or something. I also had one that was Street Fighter, and it was where the image on the screen, it would be like they're only like when you hold down the restart button, then it lights up every possible thing on the screen, so you can see. It's just kind of like almost like a scoreboard at like an old like a baseball field or somewhere. It has the numbers and just whatever lights they turn on, that shows the number. It's like that, but so there are only a certain amount of pictures that happen. So Street Fighter, so it's a fighting game, so it would be like, it's hard to say it over the radio. I can use my hands, but it'd be like you throw a fireball and the fireball would go boom, 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 and move like the picture would just light up in different spots. And I played that and the Ghostbusters game so much, especially on road trips. So those are the only video games I'm including in mine. Perfect for road trips. Yeah. But yeah, so video games one, sports stuff related, so actual active, move your body around a bunch of things, and then action figures and action figures accessories. Action figures were really big. I still like action figures, and I still go to stores and I want to buy them. He'll just sit there because I don't play with them anymore, but it's still fun to have them. Yeah, I like dolls too. Yeah, and so I... Not anymore. I did. I was just trying to call them dolls. Again, with a bit of snarky, right? So yeah, action figures were big. I only buy them now if it's like something that is very memorable from my childhood. Then put out the action figure I want or something like that. Then I have it displayed on a shelf. Yeah. So you don't go like pew pew bang bang. Okay. So I'll get. I every once in a while I go, I should make a stop motion video with it, and over Christmas a while ago I started making a video. I showed you guys the video. I didn't finish it because it did not go the way I wanted it to, where I was going to use action figures and act them out, where I'd actually it wasn't stop motion, but it'd be zoomed down the figures and move around and talk. And so I said, okay, how can I move them around without showing my hands? So I just tied a string around their neck, strings around their neck, and I move them around. And then it's just, the first shot was just a guy going in, just hanging from a noose. And it was like, I didn't realize that until watching. I was like, oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah. All right, cool. It's a lot cheaper making it that way. Yeah. All right. Well, what do you got on your list? Well, my categories are just toys. All right, cool. Because that's what I did. Mm-hmm. Most of mine are so basic. It's funny, but I was trying to think about when I was a kid, and like you said, I didn't have as many. And what we would do is get a toy, and then we would play it to death, right, and then put it away, and then take it out again, and then play it to death. Like one of the things we had. This is one of the coolest things we had. This made us feel like we had a built-in swimming pool. Okay, we had I said it made me feel. We didn't have one. This was as cool as that for us in a way. It was the table hockey kind of thing. We always played on the floor, but it was like the size. Like air hockey? No. It was about a yard long and a foot and a half wide, and you sat along the long sides of it, is square, and it had hockey players on swivels, and you would spin turn the knob like foosball, but it was. They look like hockey players, and back then hockey. I was from Wisconsin, and hockey was more of a sport around there. Now it's everywhere, but anyway. And then you play with a marble,
and you'd shoot that thing around, and you would just play. We'd play, not like rush home from school and just sit on the floor and play it nonstop, and then we'd get sick of it, or we'd forget about it, and then we'd get put away without us noticing, and then we'd find it again and go like, oh, and then we'd sit and play it for hours, and it was the cool, because it was a big present,
right?
You know what I mean?
Right.
It wasn't a
multiple
little
people played
thing.
it at once, too.
Yeah, two.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So
anyway,
still,
but it was just, and it would make you laugh, and it would be, and if you're lost and you get pissed, unhappy, and it was just so much fun.
Yep. And when you have multiple siblings, I'm guessing you guys were competitive.
Yep. And it was fun.
Was it one, because I played things like that at arcades where they have it. Was it where they always are standing up straight, they just spin,
they
so
swivel,
you actually hit it with the stick?
Yes, you'd actually, with the part that's sticking out, that was probably, well, you could see it was a marble, so, and it was all metal, because I was in olden days, so it was all metal. Oh, no, actually, it might have been that press board with paint on it for the actual floor of it. But it was just, that was so much fun. Yeah. That's when I remembered, as soon as we came up with this subject, I went like, that was very cool.
Nice. I'll go with some of mine that really stick with me, ones I play with a lot. Say the main one for me was the Ghostbusters Firehouse. Still have it. I think it's at your guys' house, and that's one I don't think I'll ever want to get rid of. And it's
gone through many purges and never even been considered.
Right. But it was, like multiple stories, and it was proportionally the same size to, proportionally accurate to the action figures. And so that became my home base for all my action figures, not just Ghostbusters. Like everything would be based around that pretty much.
He-Man and stuff. Yeah.
Ninja Turtles, Batman, all those things. And so, and it had a fire pole that you could connect them to, then turn it, and then they would go down with it. I think that's how. I know you could turn it, and I'm assuming they went down.
I think they was like a
corkscrew kind of thing.
Yeah, corkscrew. That's it.
And there was the containment unit in there. You could move, and you could open it and close it. And they had front doors, and they had the sign sticking out. And so it was like, I think on two sides of it had walls, and then two sides it didn't. And that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And it still is awesome.
And it's a big box under the Christmas tree too, which is good.
Yep. So that, for action figure related, that's my most memorable.
My only action figure was one time I got a not Barbie. I always wanted a Barbie. Everybody had Barbie. But I got one.
It was like a different brand?
Yeah, it was like her, anyway, but it was I just loved it so much, except for there's not a whole lot you can do with a doll. It's just, so I would actually take the popcorn bowl outside in the summer and fill it with water, and she'd have a swimming pool.
That's awesome.
Because I always wanted to have a swimming pool.
Yeah.
And I thought it'd be so cool, and so she would like go swimming, and then I have to drain her afterwards, that kind of stuff. Anyway, but and then I would change her clothes and like, oh, okay, now what do we do? So anyway, that wasn't a great toy, but it was still, when I got it, I was so thrilled.
Oh yeah. So many of
I
these...
I would live through her. She had nice clothes, totally. And she had a swimming pool,
Yep. There's so many, the best stories, the best
and
toys.
You could throw her,
Yeah, the best toys were you use them. I never really threw action figures very far at all. I think I was worried about breaking them. You could use these as, it's going to sound pretentious and dumb, but kind of as the vehicle for your imagination.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's totally, that's what
before,
Mine didn't have a vehicle.
Oh,
but you had a popcorn bowl.
Hey, nice. Yeah, anything with wheels was always, you could do so much with wheels. Especially when we lived in the house that had 2 stories, and then we had the railing that goes up the stairs. If you can get some that you have some wheels, you try to balance it, it would not go very far down at all without falling off. But what we do, one thing is I'll go ahead and talk about Legos now. Legos, still love them. I think I still love them just as much as I did when I was younger, but now I really comprehend and understand how expensive they are.
Yes.
So it's like
I wouldn't vacuum them up,
Yeah, they're awesome. I still, that's one where I don't think the fun I have with them has diminished at all, which is pretty crazy. Especially, it's been like 30 years of me playing with Legos. But I think I probably value them more now than I did back then, because back then I remember, I don't know, never mind. But anyway, one thing we would do with Legos is we would make a thing that was kind of car vehicle shaped, and we'd have it, my brothers and I, we'd put these little kind of things on the side, almost like hooks. And so we'd put it on the railing and then hook around the railing, and then it would slide down. We'd fill this, it's like a vehicle box thing. We'd fill with other smaller Legos. So it slides down all the way, and then it hits the ground and explodes. Just pieces go everywhere. And that was so much fun. That's one of my go-to memories when it comes to
cool.
playing with toys. But yeah, Legos, That is the one of the only few toys where I walk through that section of the store and I'd be like, God, I wish I could buy all these. and because they're so cool.
Yeah,
and I have a friend, Kevin, who's been on the show before, who is also a big Lego guy, and so he collects them, and it's really cool going over there. He has like a closet with like all the different boxes of different kind of Legos and stuff, and he has kids too, so he has ones that are like kid friendly, and then when relatives come and visit with kids, these are the ones that they play with, things like that.
That's nice.
Yep. And Legos could be it's equally as fun making up your own thing from scratch as it is buying a set and then putting things together with the instructions. It's yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember having those as kids, but we must have.
Wait, Legos, were they around back then?
I don't know, but I feel
Let me look it up.
Look it up, why don't you?
So,
yeah, but I always liked them as just Legos, but when they started making the kits, I lost a lot of interest in them.
When they started making
the kits.
Oh, the kits are really... I like that. Yeah, again, I like it just as much. Let me see. I want to find the history of Legos. Why doesn't the internet just tell me?
It would just be nice to it.
1949.
Yeah, so they had them, but like I said, they were expensive.
Yeah.
I feel like we did have them, but I don't remember having them. But I feel like I've always known what they are.
Right. As of 2015, 600 billion Lego parts.
Let me guess how many.
All right.
540 billion.
You're very close.
Yeah.
Cool. I'll just let you think about that.
Okay.
So yeah, Legos. What else you got?
Oh, this was one that came to my mind instantly, and it's also one of those that it's really fun, and then you don't care at all, and then it's really fun, you don't care at all, and those are clackers.
Clacker. Oh, wait.
Those glass balls on the ends of strings, and there were two balls, and they were on their string, and then it had a ring connecting the strings, and you'd move your hand up and down and get it so that it's hard to explain, and then the clackers would form half arcs and they'd hit each other on.
I had ones that were I had ones that were weren't strings, they were plastic.
When I was a kid, they were glass on string, and it was
wow,
and they were so cool, and they made this horrible noise that if you weren't playing with it, like if you were a parent, you probably hated it when you were a kid. It was the coolest sound because it was like a gun going off. It was so loud and so sharp. And you had to learn how to do it, and you go clack, 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 and you have, because if you didn't know how to do it, you couldn't get it started, and it was just, and then everybody had them. It was a fad. Oh my God, it was fun, but it was so much fun. And then
so was there a handle?
No, there's just a little ring that you stood your finger in so you wouldn't drop it. You know what I mean?
Oh, okay.
And and then you wouldn't, and people got hurt from them all the time, but they were so much fun. I loved them. The sound, like, still, if I saw a pair now, I'd get all excited. And then they brought them back out, because when our generation had kids, they go, let's bring back all those, but they'd bring them back lame.
I had some. They're still fun. They were plastic, and they were like they weren't stringy at all, and you go up and down, and they were still a good sound,
but it wasn't that horrible, wonderful noise though.
You could have the up and down, or you can kind of spin it, and then they
I remember those
goes in circles also.
But that was like the safe version.
Okay,
which I'm not saying that's bad. It's just like I'm sure people have them still, and they're like loving them.
Do you remember any instances where they like broke or anyone got hurt?
No.
You playing with them?
No.
Oh, nice. You were a good, mature child.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you mentioned gun sounds. That brings me to.
When I said gun, I was thinking like pops, but really loud. That's why I said gun.
I had a few gun-related toys that I loved, and there's one. It was a machine gun that you put in like 1,000,000 D batteries in, and then it had a thing that shook. It lit up and then it shook, so the whole thing shook.
Like that.
Super soakers. We had a few. I think we had one of like the kind of big ones. We never had the giant ones. It's unnecessary. It's fun when you go to someone's house, they have it, but yeah. And then Nerf guns also were awesome and really fun. And I'm like, do you think this is the nature versus nurture, one of those kind of questions and things where do you think do you think guns, like, this is going to sound weird, but the kids, do you think is just kind of naturally like, oh, this is a cool thing that you shoot and it's fun to use? Or do you think it's completely just through advertising and movies and stuff, they make them look cool so kids want
I think
guns?
it's both, but I know part of the thing that's fun is that you can stand over here and hit somebody over there. Yeah. That's like so fun. It's like you hit them with water or a marshmallow or a Nerf or something. It's just It's just kind of a cool thing. It's like you can work on your accuracy.
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yep, it's like archery. It's the same kind of thing.
None of you guys are like, oh,
Slingshot.
we should get real guns now.
Right,
it's not
right.
like,
Because I never had interest in that.
Yeah.
But it's so.
I think it's how it's presented, Yep.
Yep.
But they weren't all the movies. Like when I was a kid, we had those real simple, Lone Ranger little guns. The kind
cap guns.
But the kind you could spin it and put in your holster.
Yep.
That's about.
Yeah, that's
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are fun, and that's something that now they don't. I think it's better now that the ones they make don't look as real as they did when I was younger.
But they make them more real looking in a way. It's just they put orange on them or something.
Yeah.
It's just the color is the only thing that's different. I mean, unreal about them.
Yep. Yeah, I wonder nowadays, like if obviously it was a different time 20, 30 years ago. But I wonder now having kids if, it's one of those things where I feel like, having a kid toy gun is something that's more of a thing you have to really think about, and that has to be very monitored and stuff in a way, because back then I don't know, now you just hear about
the
how
Super
often,
Soakers never felt like a gun to me. It felt like a water shooter.
Exactly. Yep, I agree. But even just things with cops mistaking or in quotes mistaking people, blah blah blah, whatever. Okay.
Yeah, they don't. I can't imagine buying one for anybody. I can't imagine me buying one for anybody now.
Yeah, it's weird.
Yep.
Okay. What do you got?
Oh, you want me to do another one?
Yes, please.
I'm going to go with another one that we played with real short spurts, and then it's called Shoot the Moon. They have it out again because it brought one of those stores down at the mall down in Puerto Madera had them, because they brought back. It's called Shoot the Moon. It's like a metal ball sits on the end, and you just pull sticks apart to make the ball roll uphill. I can't wait. And then when it falls off, you get points. And I got so good, it was a skill you learn. And
it's a 1982 American drama film.
Okay, that's not
Sorry, Albert Finney.
Oh, I saw that. It was filmed in Marin County.
Oh, really?
That's why I went and saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
You should see it because of the filmed in Marin County. I think Diane Keaton's in it too, right?
I just went away from it. Yep. Yeah. Nicely done.
Yeah. It was like in Bolinas or something. It's pretty.
Okay.
I remember liking it. Oh, I should get that again. I should see if it's on Netflix. Nice. Wink, wink.
Your favorite director, Alan Parker.
I don't know who that is. Yeah. Anyway, Shoot the Moon is a toy, and like I said, it came back at what's it? Restoration Hardware. It has retro Christmas presents.
Okay.
Christmas has toys like that, and they have one of those. And I
played with toys like that.
Stuart got one from Sandy or something, and so.
Oh really?
I think he played with it. It was just I remember when I was thinking about these games. That's one of those that popped in. I didn't look through the internet, partly because I didn't have time, but I didn't look through for games for this show. I remembered them, and that's one of those that I went I remember that being so fun because it was a skill you could develop. Yeah, even though it was very simple game.
They had
there were no batteries. It was just yeah.
There's another game I'm thinking of that reminds me of that, but it's different. I'm pretty sure where there's ones where you have it's almost like kind of a grid of all these little plastic sticks that you have like a ring and you put all the sticks through it, then they go across, so you create like this bed of sticks that cross a bunch, and then you drop marbles down on top, and then you take out sticks to try to either make marbles fall or not fall. I think I can't remember what it was called, but that was something when I was a kid that they
that sounds kind of cool. I never heard of it.
But I remember them doing it. I remember a thing where you could make the marble kind of go up and stuff, but I don't remember it very well.
This was more like a golf ball size.
Okay,
metal ball.
Okay.
Yeah. And Shoot the Moon meant nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, let me see. I'm trying to think of things that are kind of similar, so we don't have to just keep going back and forth a bunch. You're not back and forth. I mean, say the same thing over and over again. Here's something that was probably back in your childhood. I'm guessing Silly Putty, I think then?
Oh, I meant to put that on there, yeah.
Silly Putty is still satisfying to mess with. Yeah. But the thing with, when I learned, it was probably in kindergarten, you learned that you can push it against newspapers and you peel it and it shows there. It's just magic. That's just total
and when
magic.
I was a kid, that was the coolest thing in the whole world because we always got the paper too, because the Sunday paper and you do the color one, and then you'd like look at Blondie and you'd stretch your face out.
Yep, exactly.
Hilarious.
Yeah,
and then
I do that too.
It was as a kid. It's just the coolest thing because it bounces.
It bounces. You can make bubbles and pop the bubbles.
Yes.
Make different shapes. Yeah, it settles.
And it gets all kinds of hair in it, and it changes color. But when you're a kid, you don't care about any of that,
And it comes in a little cool egg case.
And when I was a kid, it even stayed shut. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a cool.
And you can even just using the egg we'd have where some would be sticking out or something, and you close it, and then you get different. Even that was fun.
Yeah,
in a while.
yeah. And you can roll it up, and it's just a really cool thing.
Yeah,
you can actually.
I wonder if that was how that was invented. I wonder if
heard I think it was a mistake. Kind of like flubber or something. It was. I think that's why I think I heard it that
makes sense.
That's not what they were trying to build, and they went, "Hey, this is a good thing."
Yep. Nice. Cool. What else you
got? Going because we're still talking about Ghostbusters fire station.
Yeah.
Dollhouse. I had a dollhouse. I think this is probably one of my best toys I ever got, but I was thinking about it, and I just think I liked having it. And back then it was all metal, and like where the edges were curled so you wouldn't cut yourself on it. And it was it was 2-story house, and it just there's 3 sides, and then the back is open.
Was it like flat metal with just coloring on it?
Yes, and that's the thing that was kind of cool. It was perfectly, it had like rugs painted on the floor.
Oh, cool.
And and the window, it was just metal, but I just loved it. And I think what I really liked about it was like I could pretend that was my house.
Yep.
And I don't think I played with it so much as like I'd rearrange the furniture and stuff. But like putting my dolls back, I'm like, oh well, now what do I do? The dolls are in bed.
Yeah.
But I just remember loving it. And what's funny is. I remember I was older and I was walking around with my mom, and we were walking after dinner. We were walking somewhere, and I looked in a window and I was like, "Oh, there's my dollhouse!" And I went, "Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they still made those." And I realized it was an antique store. And I went, "Oh, I'm old." And it was weird. No, you know what I mean, though. Yeah. That was like, oh, my toy that I go like, "Oh, where is that?" And then when we moved from Wisconsin to California, we lost most of that stuff. But that's funny that's when I went, "Oh, I'm not that generation anymore." That was weird.
Yep. Nice. Here's another one that I'm curious if you remember. Mighty Max.
No.
We had those. They were Mighty Max. They were like Polly Pocket. Do you remember? Do you know that? But it was the boy version.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because boys and girls can't play with the same toys.
No.
And so it was. They're little tiny figurines. Called figurines. They're smaller, but they were like maybe an inch or less than an inch. Yeah.
They can't see you.
No, they were probably less than it. Yeah, they were probably like half an inch or an inch. I don't know. And they probably had like 1 point of articulation. It was like the waist probably. And then these little things came probably the size of a bagel or a donut. And you open it up, and then it creates this little. It's like a spaceship or something like that. Or they had things that were shaped pod. Shaped. I had one that was like a creepy kind of monster face. You open it up as like a cave and things, and it has little tiny figures you can move around and a few things that move. Yeah,
cool.
And you can take it with you anywhere and open it up and then play in the little house. And I still have this too. I think probably for Christmas it was like the giant. There's some kind of story around it. I don't think there was a show. There was probably a video game. But anyway, I got this giant mountain that you open up. That was probably like 1.5 feet high, and you open it up, and then it has all these little things in it. It has stuff where I think like you put little balls in there and flick the thing, and it shoots the ball, and it has like plastic ropes that go across. You put your guy on these slides, things like that. And that was super cool because it was it wasn't like Transformers, but it gave you the same kind of thing where you can fold things up, and then it's something, but then you open it up and it's something else. And most of them are so small you can just keep in your pocket and take them anywhere, like Polly Pocket.
Yeah. Except for that great mountain.
Yeah. But I played with those a lot, and I'm pretty sure I still have them. Yeah.
I haven't seen
them. I think they're in my closet in my old room at your house.
I had most of the people I've talked to in my generation do not remember this, which is really weird. They were called little kiddles, like little kids, kiddles, and both of them had D's. Anyway, and they were little dolls, probably about the size of my hand, and they were just soft and cuddly, and you took care of them. They were adorable, and I just remember those being like, because you could put them in your pocket or in your purse, like you could sneak them into church.
Oh yeah.
And so that was just kind of
kind
of cool. But if anybody still remembers little kiddles, let me hear about it.
All right. Remember, you can call in if you want. 707-981-7577. That's 707-981-7577.
1-800 little kiddles. I think is what it is.
Thank you. And so, another thing with Mighty Max, a bunch of the toys, because I have two brothers. it was awesome when there were things where we can each get our own. They're probably the same set or same kind of toy, but we each get our own specific one. So that's one we identified with. So we all got to share and be in that world together, but we each had our own thing. So
yep. It's a good thing.
I'm trying to think. I think those are all of my kind of action-y toys. That's not true at all. We've got 20 minutes almost. All right. I'll just quickly say I'll group all these together. Actual toys they use that involved like running around getting exercise. First of all, just a ball. Any kind of ball, especially when you had siblings or friends and you felt like being active, you could come up with so many games, and that's just think about how cool. You don't think about when you're a young kid. It was like, that's cool. Look how creative we have with this ball. It was just, we have a ball. Here we go. Here's a game. And that, like if you had a wall also, then it's like, oh, then there's infinite things you can do.
Yeah, that reminded me just now. When I was a kid, there was a wall. I lived kind of in the semi-country. And, where those big trucks would go by. They really did. So it was kind of... Anyway, we had a rubber ball, and we would have this game. I forgot about it completely. And, you'd stand next to the wall, and for one, you'd have to throw the ball against the wall and catch it on one without a bounce. And then for two, you had to 2 times hit it and have it bounce once. You know what I mean? We'd have for three times you had to... Yeah. And then as soon as you messed up, you had to start over again. That was a cool game. And we came up with it on our own. That's pretty cool. I just remember that.
And there's some of those games where we play, and at the name, going back, I'm like, why did we call it that? There was one that we called Suicide, and you just take a tennis ball, and throw it against the wall, and you bounce it off the ground and the wall, then someone else to get it before it bounces a certain amount of times. And then if you go in order, and then if you don't get it by a certain amount of bounces, you go out, and you have to wait till the end of the game. And it's like, why do we call it that?
Yeah.
There's certain games like that where it's just like, that's weird. Yeah. They're so fun.
I want to talk about the ball on my list because there's one ball.
Go for it, yeah.
The only ball that because I was doing these with things that were a big deal when we got them.
Yep.
And when I was a kid, super balls were invented.
Oh,
That's what they were called, those real hard bouncy balls. They're really small, like a golf ball, a little bit bigger than a golf ball. But what I was thinking about today is how dumb it was they made them green. Because they always had them green when I was a kid. Okay. Because that must be what color when they first made it to be army uniforms or something. You know? But because after it was on the playground, because they'd bounce, they would go for hundreds of yards. I mean, on one bounce, they were amazing. Yep. And they'd land on the grass. And then you have to go find the green ball in the grass. But we'd play that. It was the coolest because you felt like a superhero. Because it used to be you throw a ball and, and then it's gone, or it's right there. The Super Bowl, you'd bounce, and it would bounce so high, or so see if we can bounce. I bet you there's a ton of them on top of school back then. Like a 2-story school I went to.
Yeah, you know? And you can do inside you thing where you see how many times you can get to go the wall, the ceiling. Yeah, so you can get hit the ceiling 3 times.
But back when I was a kid, that would leave a mark, and that wasn't funny.
We would have sometimes they're glow in the dark balls, so you wait till nighttime, then you go and try to find it at nighttime, and it. Rarely could we find
it.
We
didn't have nighttime when I was a kid.
A mile away. Oh, look, so we're getting a phone call. Let me see if I do this right this time. Hello, thanks for calling to KPCA. You were on the air, so please watch your language. How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. I'm a little nervous because I've never called in before.
Well, thanks for calling in.
Radio show.
Oh, cool.
So, little Kittles. I was like on top of it all before you even said it. Little Kittles for sure.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man. And then Flinch. Card
game. I played that too.
Flinch. I have a new. We have it now too. 1 through 15. It's anyway a great card game.
I played that a lot with my grandma back in Wisconsin. That's fantastic.
No, I think there still is. I think we still have that at your house.
Yeah,
in Nevada.
We do.
I don't know if I've ever learned to play it.
Yeah,
it's always been there, but I don't know if I ever learned.
I think you can still find it too.
That's awesome that you brought that up.
Thank you. Then I don't know what it's called, but it's where you put this plastic ring around your ankle, and then there's a rigid.
That's on my list.
Thing, and then you jump around.
Is that like
it, and you jump over it?
Yeah, I called that ankle junk rope on my list.
And then the cool one's lit up at the end. It had a little.
I think in my lifetime they were released as Skip It. I don't know if that's what they were called back then or not.
That's probably.
I think when we were kids, stranger caller. I think when we were kids, it wasn't that hard plastic, was it?
No, I don't think so. And they weren't as good when they brought them back out when my kids were little.
Yeah,
because I tried it then too. It was harder to get over my foot.
And when I was trying to make this list in my head while I was laying in bed this morning, because who sleeps anymore? I realized I always did it on my right leg. I on my right ankle. I don't think because I think I did the other way. I would look like Julia Louis-Dreyfus in her dance.
Dancing, yeah. I would always put it on my right too. Because probably right-handed.
That's pretty weird. We should have done it the other way. Then we'd be more coordinated now. Yeah, I'm glad you remember Little Kiddos.
Yeah, man. Oh, they were my favorite. Yeah. Once again, when I moved from Wisconsin as well.
Oh my God, high five!
I lost them too. Yeah. Oh, and I had Zip. I had a Zip monkey. I remember Zip. My monkey. Yeah. And I loved him too. And that's my toy.
Yeah, he probably always got really dirty because he was so old.
He was nasty.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you for calling. Thank you
very much. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, I think that I want to follow up with this Zip story because my sister also had a Zip, and
I think if we it's good. Sorry, just a second. But every guest we've had on the show, I think that caller was the person that sounds most like a guest on. This is very poorly worded, but just your voices, it's so obvious. You guys.
You know what was really weird about that?
What?
I thought it was me.
Yeah.
And I really was going like, how is Christopher doing this where he's making me call in? That was really bizarre. But what was cool about it was that, the Zip story. Uh-huh. So she got that for Christmas one year. She was a little kid, probably 4 or something like that. Uh-huh. She opened it. It terrified her. She started screaming and ran away. And then it became her favorite toy. But it was hilarious because it was supposed to be a gift and it freaked her out. She just started screaming.
I had a stuffed animal. I didn't even think of stuffed animals. Stuffed animals were huge for me. But I had a stuffed animal that scared me. I remember we have a video of me getting it. And I was like, I didn't freak out like that. I was like, no. And I walked away. Then later it became one of my favorites, obviously. I put a Ghostbusters shirt on it, I think, when I outgrew it. Nice.
But it's funny that you mentioned that jump rope that ankle jump rope because that you could jump rope with, and just moving around. It was just, I loved it.
But yeah, outdoor things. Yeah. Any kind of ball is great. This is kind of an outdoor game. Yo-yos. I went through yo-yo phase for a while. I had, this was big for me. I got it as a gift once. It was like, I don't know how to describe it. It was a thing you'd throw a baseball at, and then it would bounce it back to you. It was like a net. Like a net.
Like a stretchy net.
And it had different angles. You can have so it bounces straight to the ground. You have to get like a ground ball.
Yeah.
Or they have where it's an angle, so it's like a pop fly. Yeah. And that I used a lot. I'd go outside and I just
that was pretty fun. Then of course you'd start throwing bigger balls on it and start wrecking it. You know what I mean?
But still, no, it was really sturdy. It was. And then, it was. It was. I think the only reason I didn't. We just didn't have the big enough yard to throw it like super hard.
Yeah.
A few times went over the fence. Yeah. And I was always just like, even though our neighbors were nice, it was always just like the scariest thing. We don't have a lot of time yet. I want to talk about forgotten toys too, but real quick, do you mind? I want to go through the rest of yours, but just quickly, some of my other ones.
Yeah,
real quick. GAC and Floam. I think they were Nintendo things. Yeah. GAC was really super fun, and you could make farty sounds. Mm-hmm. Floam, remember one year we got for Christmas and Floam, and then we I don't know if it was that brand or it might have been a different brand, but it was that kind of thing where it's like, it's sticky and it's stuff you make shapes out of, and it's almost like you're playing with sticky
like egg whites or something almost.
Kind of that's what GAC is more like. Okay, Floam was more like styrofoam almost, kind of, but you form it. Does that make sense?
But isn't it kind of like meltish? Not melt, but like relax.
I don't know.
I don't either.
It's more stiff than GAC, I'm pretty sure. But one time we played with it, and then we spent probably a good 45 minutes just trying to wash it off our hands because it was so sticky and gross. And I just remember standing in the kitchen, just spending our Christmas night trying to get there. And it was funny, and it was fun. But yeah. Pogs were big, but I think it was more just collecting them.
Yeah.
I just started unscrewing that.
Yeah, we didn't really collect things so much when I was a kid. Right. That's part of the different. That's part of it, too.
Creepy crawlers.
Oh, yeah. Those
were like the easy bake oven things, but you just go and you stick them in there. Because friend Adam had them. And it was like, it was fun to make, and then you get them, and then you kind of go all right.
They were pretty cool.
But they were still fun and
you
really
could
cool
stick them on something and they'd fall off, but you could stick them for a minute.
And you could do different colors and stuff. Yep.
Yeah, those were pretty awesome.
Slap bracelets were fun.
I love those.
Those yep.
Those aren't toys though.
But I feel like they kind of were. Okay. But they all right. And then Etch-a-Sketch. That's probably from your childhood too, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. And that is was super fun.
That's one other thing and it was so nice. You could just do alone time with it and stuff. It's kind of fun.
What else do you have on your list?
Okay, I have two more things. One of them is a top, but it's a kind that it's a piece of wood shaped like a teardrop,
Oh yeah.
And then you wrap string around it. And I think what I'm remembering liking about that is like we'd do it as a family. Like my dad would do it, and then my brothers would try to do it, and I'd have to wait until everybody was gone because I'd try and work on it because it took me a long time to figure out how to do it because you had to like whip it off. Yeah, it was really hard to do.
It was tough.
But I remember but I really think it's because we did it and we would all hang out together and we weren't fighting, and I just thought that was awesome. But then my other thing is like this was always my favorite Christmas present. And it's kind of lame, but it's not because I should stop saying lame. I'm sorry about that. It was a coloring book that was unused and a new box of crayons. That was always like my favorite thing.
Yep.
And then they even got so they'd have the sharpener in the back because it was just a brand new coloring book and a brand new box of crayons was just the best.
I remember as a little kid when the big like 64 color one, and it had the sharpener. I remember as a little kid going like, where does it go? Like I remember going like, you're sharpening. How does it sharpen? It takes off some of it. Because it just disappears. This box isn't like infinitely big, but I felt like you could just
remember
keep using it forever.
The crayons were on a slant, so there was that big gap in the back.
Right, and I just remember as a little kid like not understanding where it went.
But that was more like it's not like the best present, but it was the most consistently good present.
Mm-hmm. Totally is.
Like I think if somebody gave me one now, I would probably go like awesome, and then I wouldn't use it because I wouldn't want to wear it out.
Crayons do get worn out. That's too bad. They should fix them.
Well, that's when they put the sharpener. It made it so you could actually do the cool drawing again.
Yeah.
Give them to restaurants.
Yeah, before they had to use their teeth to sharpen it.
Oh, I know. Before they had TVs, they had to use
ears.
their teeth.
Yeah. All right, so I have some forgotten toys, which is either I remembered them a little bit, but not enough to be sure that they existed. So I looked them up, and then some of those I looked up and like, oh yeah, I didn't. So I just looked at the list and they popped up. I'm gonna see if you know any of these. Computer warriors is what they were called. They were kind of like Transformers, but they were other objects. Like one was a Pepsi can, and I think we might have had that one.
Oh, I think I remember that. Just barely though.
I think they were just a second.
Okay.
Computer warriors. Yeah, they had the Pepsi can one is one that keeps popping up when I search.
I like your hold music.
Thank you very much. And I think they had like a soccer ball and looks like a flashlight and stuff like that. Another thing, Supernaturals is what they were called. If anyone's listening, you know what these are and you want to call in, go for it. If not, that's fine too. But Supernaturals are an 80s toy that...
Did you ever have any?
I think we each had one or two.
I feel like I remember it, but I don't remember.
They had like they were these guys that kind of look like in... everyone who's a Star Wars fan is gonna hate me for this, but I can't remember what they're called. They were the guys that lived in, I'm having trouble thinking, like the deserty area, the kind of shorter guys with the hoods.
Oh yeah.
They kind of look like that, but they had almost like this like, oh, we're having a caller. I'll probably be able to describe it better. Let's see.
Pushing the buttons.
Hello, thanks for calling. I know who's calling, so look at the number. How's it going?
Pretty well, thanks. You were thinking of Jawas?
Yes, Jawas.
Oh, yeah, I hate Philip.
They also, in near the end of the Haunted Mansion, when you turn to the right and there's the Phantom guy in the it's really similar to that, too.
Okay, yep. But do you remember Supernaturals?
I was just about to send you a picture of Supernaturals when you said the word.
Oh, nice. I want to go through these forgotten toys with you on the line, see if you remember them. So do you remember Computer Warriors? The name was not...
Just barely, and it completely didn't until you mentioned them.
Okay. Battle Beasts?
Yeah.
Battle Beasts, I remembered. I think we had a few. I definitely know that.
Yeah, they were a trade fair...
staple?
Whatever...
Regular?
Staple? What?
A staple or regular?
Staple is the word, yes, thank you.
They had a little thing, like some kind of little, like square something in the middle too that I think had a jewel or something.
It had a heat sensitive.
Heat sensitive, that's it.
Yeah, so then you can see what guild or team or whatever they were on.
Right.
I have a couple of those on my desk right now.
Oh, nice. Rock Lords. Rock Lords.
Yes.
which is they were, I think, like they were a lot like Transformers, but they were rocks.
Yeah.
And we had a few of those.
Robot gold nugget guy.
Yes, definitely. It's a small picture one for you to see. People who are listening at home.
Did you have any of those?
I don't think so, but I remember playing with one, I think. So I think it was yours, probably.
Those are pretty cool.
Here's another one, stone protectors.
No, I'm not remembering that.
Look it up real quick and then tell you. Stone protectors, it was an American, it was also a TV show, American, British, French animated series. And these were little guys that kind of look like trolls, like the Trolls toys, but they were like Ninja Turtles, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And those I remember playing with. All right, we have a few more left. This one was big for me for a long time. We only have 2 minutes, but I'm going to do this. I kept thinking, like, I think I'm making this up. Barnyard Commandos. They were barn animals, and then they'd have like these like backpacky kind of things or something you put on them that would make them like soldiers, like military soldiers. Yeah. But they were just they
reminded me of army ants.
Yes, army ants was another one that I found online, but I did not recognize them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then
I think we might have had a couple secondhand ones of those.
Okay. And then the last one was food fighters, which were like action figure kind of things, but they would be different items of food. There was a hamburger and a pizza and a bagel and a hot dog.
They didn't just come in a Happy Meal?
There's a slight chance that they'd look like Happy Meal toys, but I'm not sure. But they're like
I don't remember whether we had any.
Like almost like California raisins, they could have been food fighters. Probably they would have fit in.
Right.
Yep. All right, that is it. Thank you, Chris, for calling in. Sorry if you had something else to say.
Nope.
Okay, bye-bye. All right, cool. Nice. He remembered the names of a lot of them. I don't. All right, thank you, everyone, for listening. Thank you, Mom, for being on the show. I appreciate it. Just so you guys know, coming up November 10th, KPCA Presents concert at the Phoenix Theater. Look on Facebook or follow us on Instagram or Twitter at Phil and Ariel to get information about that. All right, stick around, everyone, for full circle sessions. Bye.
Marie, I think my scalp is sunburned.
Oh, sorry. And